Okay, so with Prismatic Evolutions being about 2 weeks away from its actual release date now, I thought one of the things that we could do is go through and do a tier list of the artwork for the different Eeveelutions. Now, this tier list underneath has all of the pulls in Prismatic Evolutions, but I just want to focus on the Eeveelutions for this one. Otherwise, this video would be monstrous. But if you do want me to do that in a future video, let me know down in the comments and we'll get into it in a minute. So let's jump in and start with some of these artworks. Now, everyone has an artwork and Eevee actually has two. So I think we're just going to start from Eevee and work our way through the rest of them. So with these two Eevee artworks, out of the two, there is one of them that I like better. So I'm going to put this first one at C. Now, in saying this, the other one is only at B. They're very close. They're not a huge gap between them, but I do actually like this sort of heart-shaped background surrounding that Eevee has on that one. This one just seems a little bit more flat, a little bit less color in it, which makes me like this other one a little bit more than the rest of them. Next up, we're going to go with Flareon. We'll go with the original trilogy first, the original three. Flareon, I am going to, like, these are all gorgeous artworks, don't get me wrong, which I don't think there's going to be any lower than Eevee here. So a little bit of spoilers there for you, but I think Flareon is like low A, high B. It kind of teeters the line between, I mean, it is a cool card, but it feels like there is just a mix of, like, the dual colors don't really go with the red in the background as well as some of the other cards. And you'll see that when we take a look at them. And if you look at the actual cards in full size and see what they're doing on their artworks, it's just much nicer. So I would say bottom of A, if not like top of B. I might put it at the top of B for now because we've still got some other cards to get there. Jolteon, I'm putting in exactly the same spot, but I do actually like the Jolteon slightly better than Flareon. I like Flareon better as an Eeveelution, but I think in terms of the artwork here, the Jolteon looks slightly better than the Flareon. So that's why it got my vote. Again, I mentioned this in my last video too. Like, I'm not a huge fan of the rainbow borders. I don't think the rainbow borders look good. I feel like if they were to have, excuse me, if they were to have removed the rainbow borders and just gone all the way to the edge with the artwork, these would be much nicer cards. You saw it with like Moonbryon, the original Moonbryon. That card is so beautiful and the design goes all the way to the border. So I feel like they could have done that with this set and it would have been really great. It would have probably made them more valuable. But in saying that, we've got Master Ball cards. They're more valuable than the SIRs now, apparently, which is ridiculous. But let's get into Vaporeon here. Again, Vaporeon, it's a low A for me. Like, it's above the other two. I just think that the jewels and the rainbow border go a little bit better with the Vaporeon artwork. There's nothing against the other two, but I just think it blends a little bit better down here. So that's one thing that I felt like just worked. Not like worked as well as some of the others, but it worked better. So I give that an A. It's low A, don't get me wrong. Low A. All right, next up, we're going to jump into Glaceon. This card, better than the Vaporeon. Again, they're both blue in color, like blue cards, but I think the lighter color blue here goes better with the rainbow border, which I don't like, but it does go a little bit better with the jewels. I feel like Vaporeon's card, there's too much going on. It's too crowded for some reason. I don't know if it's the size of Vaporeon or what, but it just feels too crowded. Whereas the Glaceon, it's elegant, it's straight down the middle, just with your design work in the background. It just works better than the Vaporeon card does. And you're going to see that with the last four as well, because they're not as bulky. Like, you notice how Jolteon takes up a whole bunch of the card, Flareon takes up a whole bunch of the card, Vaporeon does the same too. These last four don't really do that, which is probably why I rate them a little bit higher than the rest of the cards. But in saying that, we're going to go with, I mean, we kind of have to go with Espeon next. Above Glaceon, I think the purple in this looks really, really nice. And for anyone that collects, you know that like a really nice purple colored card always looks really, really good. And with the SIR texture that's going to be on it, it's going to look great. I really like Espeon's card in this set. Again, a lot of people don't like the terrestrial or terrestrialized look to the cards, and I am one of them. I don't like the terrestrialized look as much as, like, say for example, the Evolving Skies, like SARs and stuff. Like, if you were to compare like the old Moonbreon with the new Moonbreon, I prefer the older one because it doesn't have the terrestrialized design to it. So this set for me is a step backwards from Evolving Skies. I think the artwork in that set is much nicer, but in saying that, the prices on these are pretty crazy right now, so it's hard to argue with that. You know, being a brand new set and not something that's fully unavailable yet. Like, there's going to be restocks and there's going to be extra things coming out. Next up, we're going to go Leafeon. I am going to put Leafeon at the top of A. Leafeon's my favorite artwork, but I know my favorite artwork. My favorite artwork in the A's, I'm going to put it that way. I know what you guys are thinking, like Moonbreon and Sylveon are the last two. They're always the two that are like the highest value, but I do think the colors work the best out of all of the cards here. So Leafeon, the green, it works well. Again, like I said with the Glaceon, there's not too much going on. It's a really nice like background as well. Like, he's kind of, Leafeon's in his element as such, out in the jungle. I really like the design on that card. I think it just looks great. But yeah, nothing like mind-blowing or nothing crazy like what the next two are, but definitely a beautiful looking card nonetheless. I mean, these two are both S. I'm just going to put them up here. Interchangeable for me. I like both of them, but I know that Umbreon is everyone's favorite. Umbreon is the card that pulls in the big dollars. That's the one that everyone's going to be kind of leaning towards with this set. I personally would be stoked to pull the Sylveon. As much as the Umbreon is worth more, I would be super stoked to pull the Sylveon in this set because I think the card is gorgeous. The way the pink balances out with the white, just so nice. So nice. And then Umbreon, what more can you say? Like, it's a Moonbreon. It's so much like the older Moonbreon card. It's got the same sort of features that everybody loves in the original card. And for me, yes, I do like it. But again, it's one of those things where it's not my favorite artwork in the set. Sylveon is, but I know, like, value-wise, Umbreon is just going to keep pushing up through the ceiling. But funnily enough, with Terastal Festivals, which is the Japanese version of this set, Moonbreon isn't even the most valuable card in the set. It's actually the Master Ball Umbreon. But again, Umbreon just seems to bring in the money for any of these sets, which is really strange that it's always Umbreon. None of the other Eeveelutions tend to get the spotlight, which it would be really cool if, you know, one of these style artworks that's really a statement piece in a set, it's really the benchmark for what SIRs are supposed to be. It would be so cool if one of these other Eeveelutions could get it. Because when you think about it, if you look at all the designs in this set, these ones here are all a little bit more basic than the Moonbreon. The Moonbreon's the only one that really, I mean, you could argue Leafeon does too, but it really dives into the character of the Pokemon, which, you know, for me is really cool in an artwork when it tells a story. But, you know, the Evolving Skies card became so popular that they had to do this for Umbreon again, just to create that hype. But in the future, if we ever get another Eevee set, I would love to see one of these other Eeveelutions really featured in a way that that's the chase card. You know, that is the one everyone's trying to pull. That is the big dollar card that everyone is striving to pull out of their packs or looking to buy in the singles versus the rest of them holding on to for long periods of time, getting graded and trying to get a PSA 10. It would be so cool to see that for like Leafeon or Espeon or even one of the original three or all the original three. You know, you could do another artwork like I forget which set it's from, but there's a Flareon EX where Flareon, Jolteon, and Vaporeon are all on the same artwork. That would be really cool to see, like something similar to that as like a big chase card in a future Eevee set. But, you know, you can't argue with Umbreon. It's one of those cards where it's always going to be popular. It's always going to be chased after. So yeah, that's my tier list. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Obviously 2.5 weeks away from Prismatic Evolutions. I've got my pre-orders in. Let me know if you guys have got yours in too, and I will see you in the next video.